The emperor and the fragrance of destined forbidden city was silent that morning to silent. Even the wind seemed afraid to disturb the stillness around the hall of supreme harmony. Inside, Emperor Qianlong, ruler of one of the greatest empires on earth, sat upon his gilded throne with the calm of a man who had everything, yet felt something missing. 1,000 officials bowed before him. 1,000 voices praised him. 1,000 beauties in the imperial harem were ready to serve him. But Qianlong felt a strange emptiness. An emperor could command armies, reshape borders, and rewrite history, but he could not command love. And he did not know that destiny was preparing to bring him someone who would soon challenge his heart, his power, and the laws of the forbidden city itself. A scent in the wind had happened during the spring banquet, when the imperial gardens burst with early blossoms and the noble families of the Qing Dynasty gathered to present their daughters to the emperor. Lavish gowns glittered. Musicians played soft pipa melodies. Noble women bowed with practiced grace, but Qianlong wasn't paying attention until he felt a breeze carrying a scent so rare, so fresh, so pure that it seemed impossible. A fragrance like untouched mountains after rain, like lotus petals drifting on a still lake, like something not from this world. Qianlong turned sharply. And then he saw her. The girl no one expected. She did not stand in the center of the courtyard like the others. She did not wear heavy silk or jewels. She did not raise her head to seek the emperor's attention, but she glowed. Her name was Lady Xiang Fei, the fragrant concubine of legend. A girl from a distant land, far from Beijing, raised in a culture unlike the Han or Manchu people. Her beauty was undeniable. But it wasn't her face that stunned the emperor. It was the scent, a natural fragrance that seemed to follow her, soft, warm, mesmerizing. A gift of nature, not perfume. A mystery no one could explain. The emperor's first look for the first time in years. Qianlong's eyes softened. He stepped down from the throne, ignoring shocked gasps from ministers and court ladies. He approached her slowly, like a man trying not to startle a wild, delicate bird. Lady Xiang bowed, but only slightly, not out of fear or respect. Raise your head, Qianlong said gently. She did. Her eyes held no ambition, no manipulation, no desire to become powerful. She looked at him like he was a man, not an emperor, and that alone made her dangerous. Whispers in the court palace erupted with whispers. Who is she? Why does she smell like spring itself? The emperor is looking at her differently. Some noble women clenched their fists. Some concubines lowered their heads in dread. Some ministers exchanged worried glances, because everyone knew one thing: a woman who could soften the emperor's heart could also change his politics, his loyalties, and the entire balance of power inside the forbidden city. The beginning of a forbidden path. As the banquet continued, Qianlong's attention never left Lady Xiang, and though she tried to keep her eyes down, she felt his gaze like the weight of destiny. She sensed it. Something in her life had shifted. Something she didn't choose, something she could not escape. She had caught the heart of an emperor, and emperors do not fall in love lightly. Their love is power. Their love is danger. Their love is fate. The story of Emperor Qianlong and Lady Xiang had begun, a story of beauty, jealousy, rebellion, and an affection so powerful that it threatened to shake the forbidden palace to its core. The fragrance that challenged the forbidden city. Lady Xiang's arrival in the forbidden city became the most whispered topic of the season. But not because of her beauty, not because of her manners, not even because the emperor noticed her. It was because of her fragrance, a natural scent that lingered in every room she entered, soft, soothing, almost unreal. Some said it came from rare herbs she grew up with. Others claimed it was a magical blessing. A few even whispered that she was not entirely human. A woman like her will change everything. A senior concubine muttered. She was right. The emperor's curiosity turns to obsession. Qianlong tried to resist at first. He tried to be logical. How could a simple girl from the western frontier captivate him so completely? But reason meant nothing. The emperor found himself thinking of her during meetings, losing focus during court debates, and wandering into the gardens at night hoping to catch even a trace of her scent in the air. For a man who ruled millions, it was terrifying to lose control so easily. But Lady Xiang was not trying to enchant him. That was the most dangerous part. A gentle rebellion when palace attendants dressed her in Manchu court robes and instructed her on palace etiquette. She obeyed politely, but she did not change who she was. She spoke softly, but directly. She maintained her homeland's customs. She refused to wear heavy perfumes or artificial scents. I will not disguise what is natural to me, she said calmly. Her confidence unsettled the other concubines. Some glared, some whispered lies, some plotted, because a woman who remained herself in a place built on rules was a threat. Their first private meeting after days of silence. Qianlong finally sent a message, "Come to the Imperial garden at moonrise." Lady Xiang hesitated. She knew what it meant to be summoned by an emperor. Acceptance meant power, but also entanglement. Rejection meant respect, but also danger. Yet she went. The garden was bathed in pale moonlight, the lake still and silver. Qianlong stood waiting, hands clasped behind his back, trying and failing to hide his anticipation. "You came," he said softly. "An emperor's call is not something one ignores," she replied. "But you came willingly," he said, stepping closer. Her silence confirmed it. A conversation unlike any ethereal flattery. No fear, no ambition. Instead, she asked him questions no one else dared ask. "Do you trust the people around you? Do you ever wish to live as a simple man? Do you carry the loneliness of the throne?" No official, no empress, no concubine, no advisor had ever spoken to him like this. Qianlong felt something new, a woman seeing him not as the son of heaven, but as a man burdened by a crown, and it shook him. The moment that changed the palace, a gentle breeze brushed past them, carrying her natural scent across the garden. Qianlong closed his eyes, overwhelmed not by desire, but by something deeper. Peace. Something he had not felt in years. When he opened his eyes, she was looking at him not with seduction, but with understanding. In that moment, he realized this woman would not only enter his palace, she would enter his heart, and the forbidden city. The jealous concubines, the ambitious ministers, the watching empress would not allow that. Quietly, the storm had begun. The empress smells danger. Forbidden city was built on silence, but silence is never quiet. Behind every curtain, every corridor, every carved screen, somebody was always listening. And within just a few days, one whisper grew louder than all the rest. "The emperor is visiting Lady Xiang." It spread from servants to guards, from concubines to court ladies. It finally reached the one person whose life had threatened the most, Empress Fucha, a woman known for her dignity, intelligence, and unwavering composure. But when she heard the rumor, even her steady hands trembled. The empress observes from the shadows. Empress Fucha had ruled the inner palace for years. She knew every game, every ambition, every mask. But Lady Xiang was different. She had no political family, no secret alliances, no hunger for power. And that made her terrifying. Because a woman with no agenda could capture an emperor's heart more easily than a woman with 10 plans. So the empress did something she rarely did. She left her chambers in daylight and walked the palace pathways herself. What she saw shocked her. Servants whispering, concubines glaring, guards stiffening their posture at the mention of Lady Xiang. The palace had begun to shift its weight around this one girl. Jealousy lights its first breath. Other concubines were not silent either. Some cried, some cursed, some smashed porcelain in their rooms. One, Consort Chunhua, shouted, "Does she think her strange smell makes her special? She hasn't earned her place here." Another hissed, "She's not even from our culture. How dare she charm the emperor?" But charm was not the right word. Lady Xiang did not try to charm anyone. Her quiet presence, her calm eyes, her gentle spirit, those were enough. And jealousy, once lit, spreads faster than wildfire. The empress summons Lady Xiang 3 days later. Lady Xiang received a formal message. "The empress requests your presence." The palace froze. Everyone knew what such a summons meant. Lady Xiang entered the empress's hall with a respectful bow. The beauty of the hall was overwhelming. Golden screens, carved dragons, rare silk tapestries, but none of that was as intimidating as the woman. Sitting on the throne, Empress Fucha studied Lady Xiang. Quietly, "You have caused quite the stir," she finally said. Lady Xiang didn't deny it. She simply answered, "I have not sought attention, Your Majesty. I only wish to understand my place here." A wise answer, the Empress replied. "But wisdom does not protect you from jealousy." Her voice softened, but her eyes remained sharp. "Do you not fear the Emperor's affection?" Lady Xiang paused. "I fear losing myself more than anything else." For the first time, the Empress's expression changed. Not anger, not jealousy, but something like surprise. This girl was not like the others. A warning wrapped in silk. The Empress stood, her silk robes flowing like water. "Listen carefully," she said. "This palace is not governed by the Emperor's heart, but by rules. If you change the balance too quickly, you will be crushed beneath it. A chill ran down Lady Xiang's spine.